All right, everyone. Tommy Robinson is now free out on bail. Apparently, what I and others like me said was correct, and people who were trying to say that we were totally wrong, we didn't know anything about British politics, British legal system. Are you going to apologize now? Because a lot of these people, jackboot lovers, not all leftists, but mostly, they said, well, he definitely broke the law. He definitely broke the terms of his probation. That's why he's in there. He's definitely in contempt. He should be there in jail. He belongs there. He's an evildoer. Like conducting jail, you have an unjust law, but he should still be in jail. Well, I think that that's ridiculous myself, but let's get past that libertarian statement for a moment. Several judges now have agreed I'm right and you're wrong, and are saying, yeah, well, he may not have breached the conditions of his probation. Maybe he wasn't in contempt. We're going to have to take a further look. He's out on bail for now. So it looks like you might have been wrong. Again, are you going to apologize for making declarative statements in a legal framework that you thought I knew nothing about? He appealed, and the appeal was accepted. So I guess that they agree with me more than they agree with you. You think that that he should be in a jail cell for 13 months, that he definitely improvably broke the law. I guess several judges agree that that's not necessarily the case. Now, of course, he could get thrown back in. It could be that on reconsideration they say, yeah, you actually were in contempt. We're putting you back in the slammer. I don't think that's likely. I don't think they would have let him out in the first place if that were going to happen. Absolutely not. I think the big consideration is that the judge who initially put him in did the trial too quickly for him to summon a proper lawyer and gave him a public defender, number one, and number two, apparently didn't even look at all of the information in the case. Didn't even review the whole tape of the incident. Well, that could be a little bit of a problem. Looks a little bit like a kangaroo court at that point now, doesn't it? I think you can't possibly call yourself a free country if a judge can muzzle the entire nation's press and prevent it from talking about something. Like, remember when Tommy Robinson went to jail, for the first 2 days, the British press wasn't even allowed to reference it. People are like, well, I would tweet about this, but, I've got a family to feed, so no, I don't think I can because I don't want to run afoul of our draconian anti-press laws. You don't have a free press. You have a censored press. So you're a step behind. It's like someone at the time was like, well, the UK ranks ahead of the US in press freedom. And I'm thinking to myself, no sane person thinks that. The press here is totally free. They're even free to defame people all the time. They're totally unaccountable. And when people over here think that the free press is being attacked when Trump criticizes CNN, over there a judge can tell any group in the country you can't talk about something. Any person can't talk about on Twitter, can't make a YouTube video, can't post on your blog. Even the BBC can't talk about it. That's not a free press. Sorry, you're totally wrong if you think that. I love being in the United States as far as the press goes. I can engage in these activities of the press too. Government can't come in and say, Six, you can't talk about a certain thing. Can't do it. I love it. I can sit here and say I think the UK's government sucks. I can sit here and say I think the Queen's inbred. Can you? I don't think that you can. I think you'll get a knock on the door from the Bobby asking why you're saying such things. Some things you get arrested for it. I can't. I can't be arrested for talking about wrong think issues over in the UK, but you can. Government here can't do jack shit about my opinions. Your government can. It'll do much more than spy on you. Hell, you can go to prison or get fined or whatever for not having a license and watching TV the wrong way. I think that that's ridiculous too. It's hilarious. But no, Tommy Robinson, in my opinion, ran afoul of a law that shouldn't even exist, number one. Number two, probably didn't even violate that. And that it was a kangaroo court. I'm glad he's out. And again, I say this as someone, I'm not really synced up to his views on society, like politically speaking. And you don't have to. Look, here's the wonderful thing about free speech. People who you don't agree with on everything can actually say things. And you can debate them. You can argue with them. You can provide counters to what they're saying. And they can do the same. Isn't that wonderful? A nice, polite society where instead of punching the Nazi, people debate. But that's not what the jackboot lickers want. They want a society in which the only thing that happens is either you get punched for having the wrong views or you get thrown in a jail cell. Because they're that fucking fragile and sensitive that they can't stand the concept that other people would disagree with them. They can't stand the concept that someone would step out of line. This is what the genuine left fought against for decades. Then they all buckled. They became a bunch of fucking yuppies. And now these old yuppies, they've gone back to being like populists again. It's actually funny. They're like the vanguard of the Trump movement at this point. Now all the people that were like hippie, trippy Clintonians are a total bunch of police statists. Total jackboot lovers. They're literally sitting there clamoring for more such laws. They're like, yeah, we need to censor more things. Yeah, corporations should decide what is or is not right to say on various communicative platforms. It's a great idea, and by the way, if you support freedom and capitalism, you have to support that censorship too, even if it's government co-opted, government sponsored, even if the NGOs that cause it are also government co-opted and sponsored. It's government all the way down, but it's okay because they've got a middleman. Wonderful. Yeah, the Mafia Don didn't shoot you, the capo shot you, so it's a much better situation. You've still been shot. Pragmatically, the outcome is the same. With regards to Tommy Robinson, regardless of how you feel about his personal character, if you want a free country, you're in Britain, the rainy island, you're out there in your sad, dreary little spot of land. If you want that sad little spot of land to remain a free country, you have to support his right to conduct journalism. Even if you disagree with his fucking conclusions, the same as you would defend someone on the far left. Look, you can be right-wing, and this is a nasty trend I see with some people on the right. They're like, yeah, maybe we should suppress and censor the left because they're always trying to deplatform us. I'm sitting there thinking, are you nuts? Are you fucking high or something? That's exactly how you destroy your movement, become the establishment, and the whole problem starts over again, and it replicates itself endlessly. We've had this problem before a dozen times. It's called a paradigm shift. We should try to temper that tendency a little bit. Maybe cooler, saner heads will prevail for once. It's happened before. It was called the American Revolution. Worked pretty well for a while until a bunch of socialists crept in. Tommy Robinson, he just stood there and recorded things. Oh my God, he endangered the trial. Oh my God, he violated his probation. He's in contempt. Oh my God, the trial was perfectly fine. Yeah, a judge just sits there and says, yeah, you're in contempt. I watched 10 minutes of video. Throw him in jail for 13 months. What a wonderful place to be. I thank the Lord I don't believe in every single day that I'm not in the UK. Honestly, I'm never going to visit the UK. It's the land of my ancestors. I'm glad that they came over here and didn't stay. Because, if I were in the UK, I'd be looking for places to immigrate to right now. None of them would be in Europe, honestly. I'd rather live in the third world. I'd rather live in an undeveloped nation than live in the UK at this point. You're going the way of the dinosaur and pissing away a first world nation. It's very, very funny to see. Very, very sad, too. Some people think I'm being like sadistic or something. No, I'm not going to go full Medicare on you. But you need to change the way that you're doing business desperately. You need to start fighting back against censorship because you're literally becoming 1984. Orwell's little plaque there has like a dozen cameras aimed at it. Don't you find that slightly odd and ironic and a little bit concerning? I do. Hell, we've got enough police state over here, even in small town America. You got red light cameras and shit. I oppose all that bullshit. I think that it's all moronic. You've got 10 times more. You're most surveilled people in the world, most downtrodden in the Western world at this point, I think. You have Brexit, but your own government's even worse than the EU's authorities. What's the fucking point? No. So thankfully, Tommy Robinson hasn't been killed in prison causing mass riots over in the UK. Of course, the Antifa might try to take a shot at him at some point. They're criminals, so they're not going to follow your draconian anti-weapons laws. It's illegal to harm people, so nobody ever harms anybody. Except the criminally insane. Never happens over here. That's about all. Peace out.